As we hustle through the careers and everyday grind, it's easy to get lost in the chaos, but taking a moment to reflect on how far we've come and plan ahead is just as important as the daily grind. This week we're hitting pause to look back on our wins, losses, and lessons, as well as everything in between. It's not about living in the past, it's about learning from it so we can level up for the future. Whether you're aiming for a new position, ready to change directions, or just want to be more intentional with your time, reflection and planning will set the foundation for your next moves. Let's map out the vision, set the goals, and get ready to make some real progress. Speaking of real progress, when's the last time you tapped in with a therapist? No, not a friend who knows everything, but a real therapist that can help you unpack and provide clarity. You'll definitely want to listen to this week's thought leader. She's a marriage and family therapist on a mission to change the narrative of what their therapy looks like. She's dropping all kind of nuggets, so I'd say it's a must watch this week. This week is all about getting your mind right for that next step in your journey. Lastly, there are multiple ways to connect and get your hustle story told. 1, hit me up for your newsletter feature. 2, join the Hustlers Inner Circle and get unlimited audio access to my best-selling book, Hustle to the Top, a modern guide for scaling your career. 3, DM me participation for a chance to be featured in an upcoming podcast episode. I would also like to add a segment to my podcast titled, What the Hell Do You Do? This segment will focus on exploring almost every position in healthcare and allow you to understand the hustle involved for achieving and thriving in the role. Hit me up to be considered for this too. Let's get into it, hustlers.
Hello everyone, I am Deja Tharp, a marriage and family therapist here in the Middle Georgia area. I have dedicated myself to helping individuals, families, and couples navigate their own unique challenges. My passion for this field stems from a deep commitment to fostering healthy relationships and emotional well-being. I believe in the power of connection and authenticity and communication, and I find it incredibly rewarding to guide clients towards understanding and healing and growth. I understand that every story is unique, and being a part of one's journey is what really drives my desire to be a part of the field. For me, my journey towards being a marriage and family therapist started with my already frame of systemic thinking. I have a desire to change the lives of generations just by impacting a small group, whether it be an individual, whether it be a couple, or whether it be a family. I also have a desire to create safe space for someone to practice unconditional acceptance and positive self-reflection. I want to reduce the stigma in certain communities towards mental health counseling, especially within the African American community. African Americans make up about 4% of the psychotherapists in the field, and by diversifying the workforce, we can take a step towards culturally competent, efficacious counseling, and we can limit that disparity gap amongst certain marginalized groups. I want to rewrite the narrative that therapy is only for a certain demographic, that you have to look a certain way, talk a certain way, have a certain amount of money, have a certain amount of resources to be a part of the process. Something that's changed about my career path is that through the work that I've done, I have become more passionate about trauma work. I have been more fascinated with the concept of epigenetics and trauma's transmission across generational lines. That's something that I'm looking to be more involved in my own clinical practice. My first aspect of personal success is self-actualization. It's being able to look in the mirror and recognize who I am, what I can achieve, and what I bring to the table. It's being able to set measurable goals and to achieve them. It's to be able to push down the voice of fear when it speaks to me. It's to build healthy relationships, to have a community that pushes me forward, who recognizes who I am, and who helps support me towards my goals and my journeys. And it's having contentment, having just peace of mind, having joy, having gratitude for where I am and what I have achieved and who I am in general. As far as professional success, the first thing that comes to mind is making a meaningful impact. I work in a service community. I serve as a living. So being able to contribute to my community, making that meaningful impact of my work, being innovative, being inspiring. Another aspect of professional success is mastering my expertise. It's my skill development. It's continuously improving my skills for the betterment of others. And lastly, I would say is satisfaction in the work that I do. It's being able to align my personal goals, my personal desires, my personal outlook with the work that I do. Being able to push forward the communities that need it most. As a therapist, burnout can be a real thing. So trying to balance the two can be hard, but work-life balance is what allows both of them to strive and to be maintained. This is a great question, and I'm glad you asked. I would say one of the biggest things that impedes people from being a part of the therapeutic process is that there is an understanding, or misconception I should say, that to be a part of the therapeutic process, you are at a weak place, that you are weak-minded, that some people might even say crazy, that therapy is only for people who are in the middle of a crisis, who are having mental issues. Therapy is for a myriad of things. Therapy is here for grief, for self-actualization, to build healthy relationships. It's for a myriad of things. Another thing I would say is that some people think that therapy is a quick fix. Change is a gradual process. It comes in stages, it comes in waves. And it's not a process where your therapist is telling you what to do. It's where we're helping you look deep into yourself and pull out the knowingness that's already there. Maybe some things that you're having a hard time actually paying attention to that are there. Some things that we can help you shift your perspective on. I think lastly, another thing is that people think that your therapist will solve your problem for you. We're here to be active participants in your process. We're here to do collaboration with you on your journey. And seeking therapy, it's an opportunity for you to pull out that inner knowing, that inner strength that you have, and being able to actualize it against any outcomes that come your way. The work that I do, the way that I speak to my clients, the way that I phrase my inquiries is part of the way that I help people get past some of these misconceptions, and even doing things like this, interviews like this. One that comes to mind is while I was in my program, I was in an active stage of grief. My maternal grandmother has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and it was during a time where I had to show up strong, emotionally available, inquisitive, passionate for others, and I was dealing with my own heavy grief for myself. I had to be inspirational where I myself was lacking a bit of hope. One of the ways that I got through this was I was willing to lean into vulnerability. I was willing to be transparent with my community and tell them what I needed. I was able to fight the resistance of not wanting to fully open up, of wanting to resist revisiting painful memories and painful emotions. But I was able to surround myself with people who loved me, who cared for me, who reminded me of the joys, even in the moments that I could share with her today. That is a challenge that I have endured that has really challenged the work that I do, especially with grief. And it's one of those things that has been a blessing in the fact that it now allows me to connect with people in my community, my clients who are experiencing grief in any capacity, and be able to really sit with and hold that with them, because I too understand. I just want to end by saying, if you have an inkling at all for yourself to go get some counseling, I encourage you to do so. Many people avoid it because they think it's only for people that are going through severe challenges. But if there's even a small part of you that desires to be seen or to be heard, do so. To someone out there who is considering joining the field, please do. There's something unique about you, something inspiring about you that someone out here needs to experience, that someone could learn from you. Everyone can learn from anyone. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't matter if you've been in another career before. If there's something that draws you to the field, please be a part of it. Please. There are people out here who are waiting to be inspired by you. I thank you guys for your time. Have a great one.
All right, let's talk about setting goals and planning for the future. Whether you're just getting started or already deep in the game, having a solid plan is the difference between dreaming and actually making things happen. First thing first, you gotta know what you want. Sounds simple, right? But a lot of people out there, you're grinding without a clear vision. You need to be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful or I want to make more money. Dig deeper. What does success look like to you? Is it a promotion, starting your own business, or making six figures? Or maybe it's, I want to have more control over my time. Whatever it is, get real with yourself. Now, once you know what you want, it's time to break it down into real, actionable goals. We're talking about SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's say you want to get a promotion. What are the exact steps that you need to make that happen? Do you need a certification? Do you need to network with certain people or take on new projects to showcase your skills? Make a list of the moves that you need to make and put deadlines on them. That's the hustle. But here's where most people get stuck. They plan, they write it down, but they don't follow through. That's why accountability is key. Hold yourself to those deadlines. Check in with yourself regularly. Did you meet the goal for the week? If not, what got in your way? Adjust and keep pushing forward. No excuses. Another major part of planning is staying flexible. Life happens. Sometimes plans change, and that's cool. Don't get discouraged if things don't go exactly how you thought they would. The goal stays the same, but the path, it might shift a little. Be ready to adapt when needed, but don't lose sight of what you're after. And finally, celebrate your wins. Whether it's a big win, small wins, progress is progress. Every step forward deserves some recognition. And that's how to stay motivated. You're not just checking boxes. You're moving closer to the life that you want. Remember, the road to success is a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourself, but never stop moving forward. So what's your next step? What's the one thing that you can do today that'll bring you closer to your goal? Think about that and then do it. Start planning your future right now. Stay locked in on your vision. Your success doesn't depend on the moves that you make today. The future isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's ready when you are. Let's get it, hustlers. Welcome to Health Hustle Chronicles, where the grind meets growth in the world of healthcare. This ain't your typical podcast. I'm here to shine light on the talent that's out there hustling every day. Introduce you to coaches who can level up your game and break down exactly how you can climb the ladder in this industry. Whether you're just stepping in or already in the trenches, I'm going to give you the real deal on how to elevate beyond the road and claim what's yours. I'm talking about unlocking opportunities that seem hidden, finding leadership when it feels like no one's got your back, and building a roadmap to success even when the path ain't clear. From time management to battling self-doubt, lack of mentorship, to the struggle of getting noticed. I get it. I've been there, and I'm going to bring you that hustle mindset with every episode so you can take that next step towards career growth and wealth. If you're ready to go beyond surviving and start thriving in healthcare, then this podcast is for you. It's time to hustle harder, grow smarter, and elevate together. Let's get it, hustlers.
Sometimes to move forward, you've got to take a step back and look at the road you've already walked. It's easy to get caught up in what's next and forget just how far you've come. But reflection, that's where the real growth happens. And today, I want to share the story of someone who learned that lesson the hard way. There was this woman, let's call her Maya. She was the type of person who never stopped. Always on the move, constantly chasing the next big thing. She had ambition, no doubt, but she also had tunnel vision. She was so focused on the finish line, she never stopped to take in the journey. Maya had dreams of climbing the corporate ladder, and for years she did everything right. Or so she thought. She hustled, stayed late, and took on more projects than anyone else. On paper, she was crushing it. But deep down, she felt stuck, burned out. Like all the effort wasn't adding up to anything. One day, after a particularly rough week, she found herself at a crossroads. She was exhausted, frustrated, and questioning if all the grind was even worth it. So she did something she hadn't done in years. She took a step back and reflected on where she was. She looked at her career, her goals, and even her personal life. And what she realized hit her hard. She'd been so focused on what's next that she hadn't taken the time to appreciate what she'd already accomplished. She saw how much she had learned, how much she had grown, and how many challenges she had overcome that she had completely overlooked. All those sleepless nights, all those tough meetings, they weren't for nothing. They were building her into the leader she was becoming. It was a turning point for Maya. Instead of constantly chasing the next milestone, she started making reflection a regular part of her life. Every few months, she'd pause, look back, assess her progress. And in doing so, she realized she wasn't just working toward her goals, she was living them. With this new mindset, Maya's whole approach shifted. She wasn't just moving forward aimlessly, she was moving forward with purpose. She could see the bigger picture, and because of that, she started making smarter moves. Her career took off in ways she hadn't even imagined. And the best part, she was able to enjoy the ride. So why is reflection so important? It's simple. It gives you perspective. It shows you what's working, what's not, and where you need to shift gears. It's about more than just checking boxes. It's about seeing the full story. When you look back at where you've been, you can better understand where you're going. Maya's story reminds us that it's okay to pause and reflect. In fact, it's necessary. Life's a journey, and sometimes the only way to truly appreciate it is by looking back. So, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like the grind isn't paying off, take a moment to reflect. You might be surprised at how much progress you've made and how much more you're capable of. Looking back isn't about dwelling on the past. It's about using it to fuel your future. So go ahead, take that step back. You'll be ready to leap forward stronger than ever.
All right, here's this week's challenge, and it's all about turning your dreams into something you can see, touch, and work toward. Creating a vision board. This isn't just some arts and crafts project. It's about getting serious with yourself and mapping out your future, both in your career and in your personal life. Now let's break it down. You've got goals, big ones. Maybe it's landing that promotion, starting your own business, or simply finding more balance between work and life. But it can feel overwhelming, trying to get from where you are to where you want to be. A vision board is a powerful tool that takes those abstract ideas and turns them into something real, something you can look at every day and remind yourself of why you hustle. Here's how we're going to do it. Step 1. Get clear on what you want. The first step is clarity. What do you actually want? Take some time to reflect on your career and life goals. What do you see when you think about the future? Don't hold back. This is the time to think big. Is it that corner office, running your own company, or a healthier work-life balance where you spend more time with family? Whatever it is, get specific, write it down. The clearer the vision, the more powerful it'll be when you put it on your board. Step 2, gather your materials. Now comes the fun part. You'll need some supply. Grab some old magazines, scissors, glue, markers, or even print images or quotes that resonate with your vision. You're looking for things that spark inspiration, things that represent what you want to achieve. It could be pictures of the lifestyle you're aiming for, quotes that motivate you, or images of places you want to travel to once you've hit your financial goals. You want to fill your board with things that light a fire under you. Step 3, put it together. Find a space where you can lay everything out. This is where your career and life dreams start to take shape. Arrange your images and words on your board. Maybe on one side, you focus on career goals, like that leadership role, building a business, or finishing that degree. And on the other side, focus on personal goals, health, family, travel, or financial freedom. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just make sure it reflects the life you're building. Step 4, keep it where you can see it. Once you've got your vision board together, place it somewhere you can see it every day. Whether it's in your office, your bedroom, or even on your phone if you prefer digital, make sure it's in your line of sight. This is your daily reminder of where you're headed. When times get tough, and trust me, they will, you'll look at that board and remember why you're putting in the work. Step 5, let it evolve. And lastly, remember that your vision board isn't set in stone. As you grow, as your goals shift, your board can too. You might hit one of your career goals and need to add a new one, or your priorities might change as your life changes. That's all part of the process. So this week, I challenge you to carve out some time, sit down with yourself, and start building your future visually. Whether you're just getting started in your career, making a transition, or leveling up, this board is going to be a game changer. You're designing your life one goal at a time. Let's create something worth striving for.